Think smelling expensive cost hundreds? Think again. I've sniffed through hundreds of steals, from luxury dupes to under $25 hidden gems. And today I'm dropping 7 new fragrances that smell like they cost triple the price. No fluff, no hype, just insider picks that'll elevate your scent game overnight. You ready to smell rich without breaking the bank? First, Fragrance World Barakkat Rouge, 540. Barakkat Rouge by Fragrance World is a near-miraculous recreation of Baccarat Rouge 540, arguably one of the most imitated niche scents of the last decade. But what sets this version apart is how it balances the ethereal quality of the original without collapsing into harsh synthetics or oversweetness, which is where most clones fail. Let's talk composition. What gives BUS 540 its luxe aura is a precise interplay between saffron, ambergris, or ambroxan in modern terms, and a transparent woody sweetness. Barakkat Rouge nails this transparency. It opens with a radiant, almost mineral brightness, like sunlight hitting a glass chandelier. The saffron isn't dusty or flat, it's airy, and it builds into this velvety cloud of sweetness that doesn't feel sugary. The dry down stays crystalline, warm but never sticky, sweet but not juvenile. It maintains this subtle, clean skin with warmth effect that's incredibly hard to fake. No plasticky base, no chemical sharpness. You could easily pass this off as niche on a scent strip or wrist. Why it smells rich? Because it doesn't scream. It glows. It sits close to the skin and leaves a refined whisper trail of scent that suggests confidence, not desperation. That alone is worth more than its $25 price tag. Performance: 6 to 8 hours on skin, 10 plus on fabric. Moderate projection for the first 2 hours, then becomes a skin scent, just like the original, and in some ways, that's the point. Pro tip: layer this with a light musky fragrance like Al Rehab's Soft, or even a basic white musk oil. It adds dimension and makes the fragrance last longer, without interfering with the saffron amber core. You'll also extend the wearability to different settings, from upscale daytime to intimate evening. Second, Khamrah Qahwa. If you've smelled the original Khamrah, you already know it's a standout Parfums de Marly Ouadjan style clone. Boozy apple, cinnamon, and tonka bean warmth. But Khamrah Qahwa adds a note that takes the DNA into niche territory: coffee. Coffee and fragrance can be tricky. Too bitter and it turns sour. Too sweet and you're in synthetic syrup land. But here the coffee note is creamy, smooth, and seamlessly integrated into the spicy gourmand base. It's not a Starbucks bomb, it's more like espresso cream, drizzled over cinnamon sticks and soaked in golden vanilla. This creates a layered, high-end feel. The composition unfolds slowly. First warm spice, then sweet haze, then roasted elegance. It never feels cluttered or overbuilt, and most importantly, the quality of the blend hides its price point completely. Why it smells rich? It wears like a seasonal exclusive from a niche house. Gourmand but not juvenile, spicy without being sharp, and with enough depth to transition from cool afternoons to velvet-draped evenings. Performance: beast mode, 8 to 10 hours easily. It projects well for the first 3 to 4, especially in cooler weather or layered under a sweater. On fabric, it'll hang around for a couple days. Pro tip: want to take this even further? Add a single spray of Maison Alhambra's amber and leather at the base of your neck before applying Qahwa. The leathery dry down elevates the sweetness and adds texture. Just don't overspray. Both are potent. 3. Afnan Turathi Blue. Turathi Blue is one of those rare finds that people still sleep on, mainly because it doesn't ride the TikTok wave. But if you know scent profiles, you'll recognize what this is doing immediately. Picture a fragrance sitting in the perfect middle ground between Bleu de Chanel and Acqua di Gio Profumo. You've got citrus sparkle up top, sharp and energetic, but backed by a dark, resinous incense core. This isn't just another aquatic or freshie, it has structure. The top opens with a crisp, slightly bitter citrus, probably bergamot and grapefruit, instantly giving it that designer edge. But then it moves into incense and dry wood territory. There's a subtle smokiness that hints at quiet luxury. That smokiness is what takes this from generic to elevated. You're not smelling like a locker room body spray. You're smelling like someone who pays attention to detail. Why it smells rich? It combines freshness with mystique. Most sub-30 freshies go loud and synthetic. This stays calm, elegant, and balanced. It smells like something a well-traveled executive might wear. Not flashy, but sharp. Performance: 6 to 7 hours of good wear time. Projection is moderate. People around you will notice, but you're not fogging the room. It excels in temperate climates or air-conditioned settings. Pro tip: this is the scent you wear when you want to feel put together without being overbearing. It's perfect for layering with clean barbershop-style scents if you want to give it a vintage twist, or with a light woody musk if you're aiming for minimalism. Rabi al Wataniya Oud Al Layl. Now we're stepping into more daring territory. Oud Al Layl is what I call entry-level luxury oud. If you've been curious about Tom Ford's Oud Wood or similar private blends but don't want to gamble your rent money, this is the affordable gateway. This scent doesn't blast you with harsh oud up front. Instead, it opens with a smoky woodiness that's warm, slightly sweet, and controlled. There's a touch of leather, maybe a faint floral whisper in the background, but the star is this deep, resinous oud-like note. It's more about vibe than literal replication. What makes this feel so upscale is its restraint. Unlike some budget ouds that go nuclear with fake medicinal punch or gasoline-like spice, Oud Al Layl stays mellow. It's not trying to overpower, it's aiming to intrigue. Why it smells rich? Because it gives you the texture of oud, dry woods, clean smoke, faint sweetness, without the aggressive edges. It smells like something found in a curated boutique fragrance lineup, not a mall kiosk. Performance. This is more intimate. Expect 4 to 6 hours on skin with a soft projection. But the richness of the blend lingers on fabric. Don't expect compliments from across the room. This one's for people close enough to know you matter. Pro tip: wear this under a cashmere sweater or wool blazer. The fabric traps the scent and amplifies it gently throughout the day. For evening wear, layer it with a drop of amber oil to round out the base. Let me throw this question out there. What's a fragrance you blind bought under $30 that completely blew you away? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear your underrated gems, the ones no one talks about but smell like bottled royalty. And on the flip side, ever get burned by the hype? You saw all the reviews, pulled the trigger, and it turned out to smell like aerosol mixed with floor cleaner. Let's hear those too. Clone fam needs to look out for each other. 5th Fragrance World Carbon Edition. If you've been hunting for a proper Sauvage Elixir clone without paying Dior prices, this is your best bet. Carbon Edition isn't just a copy, it's a bold, almost aggressive reinterpretation of Elixir's DNA with a slightly sweeter twist. Where the original Elixir leads with sharp spice and herbaceous lavender, Carbon Edition smooths the opening just enough to make it more wearable without losing that alpha punch. It's spicy, aromatic, woody, and deeply masculine. Everything people love about the Elixir profile. What's shocking is how well it captures the density and weight of the original. You spray this, and it feels like you just put on a $150 fragrance. Not because it copies every note perfectly, but because the vibe, the presence, is identical. Why it smells rich? It doesn't rely on freshness. It builds a signature scent around spicy woods and mature lavender in a way that feels composed and confident. It smells like a scent that belongs to a man with a schedule booked 2 weeks in advance. Performance very strong. 8 to 10 hours easily with noticeable projection for the first 4. This is not a fragrance you want to overuse. Go 2 sprays max. Pro tip: apply on pulse points only. This scent thrives on skin heat. Avoid spraying on shirts or coats unless you want it lingering for days. This one builds over time, so give it 15 to 20 minutes before judging the full experience. 6. Asdaaf Andaleeb. If you think citrus-based fragrances can't feel luxurious, you haven't smelled Andaleeb. This is where bright, zesty notes meet creamy florals in a way that feels more Byredo than bargain bin. At first spray, you get a burst of what smells like candied citrus. Think sun-soaked mandarin and sweetened bergamot. But don't confuse that sweetness for immaturity. It's clean and vibrant, not sticky. Within minutes, the citrus gets wrapped in this gauzy, floral, musky blend that gives it an almost skin scent effect. The dry down is where it really shines. There's a waxy, expensive smoothness that reminds me of niche brands like Byredo's Sundazed, or even Roja's Elysium if it had a lighter, fruitier twist. It wears close but persistent, and more importantly, it evolves. A lot of cheap citrus scents just fade into a musky nothing after an hour. Andaleeb transforms. Why it smells rich? There's no screechiness, no overblown sweetness. It has direction. The notes unfold like a composition, not a dump of ingredients. And that layering of citrus on white florals and musk is timelessly chic. It's giving clean linen at a $1,200 per night boutique hotel in Capri. But it costs less than a takeout dinner. Performance: about 5 to 7 hours, which is excellent for a fresh scent. Projection is medium, enough to leave a gentle scent trail, especially in warm weather or open spaces. It clings well to fabric without turning sour. Pro tip: use this as a layering base with a fruity or floral body lotion if you want to dial up the feminine energy, or pair with a green tea or neroli scent to push it into luxury spa territory. This is an extremely versatile layering piece if you want to build a high-end scent identity on a budget. 7th. Fragrance World Oud Mood Reminiscence. Let's switch gears into something bold. This one is not for the shy. Oud Mood Reminiscence is unapologetically rich, dense, and syrupy. It's the kind of scent that walks into a room before you do, and lingers long after you've left. Right off the bat, it opens with a thick wave of spicy amber, rose, and candied oud. The sweetness is dark, not gourmand, more like sticky dates and resinous woods than vanilla and sugar. There's also this incense-like quality that adds depth and makes it feel ceremonial. Think Swiss Arabian Oud Mood, but dialed into a more rounded, less metallic finish. And unlike the typical budget oud blends that can smell like melted rubber or overly medicinal agar wood, this keeps the oud controlled. It's syrupy but never sour. The rose is deep red, not powdery. The amber glues everything together into this velvet-rich oriental composition. Why it smells rich? This smells like the kind of scent you'd find at a Middle Eastern niche boutique, something offered in hand-cut crystal bottles behind locked cabinets. It doesn't mimic Western designer styles, it owns its identity. That's what gives it power. Performance: easily 10 to 12 hours on skin, longer on clothes. This is a true powerhouse. Minimal sprays are key. One spray on the chest, one on the wrist, and you're scented for the day and night. Pro tip: this is ideal for layering with lighter or linear scents. Try a whisper of musk or even a white floral oil underneath if you want to tame the darkness. If you layer this over something simple and creamy, it becomes a wearable niche hybrid that smells easily 10 times its price. If you're deep in the cologne game, you know a single bottle can only go so far. Real scent connoisseurs build unique identities with layering. Here are a few combinations using today's picks that'll get you compliments from both the fragrance snobs and casual noses. For a luxe oud fusion, combine Oud Al Layl, smoky clean oud, with Khamrah Qahwa, gourmand warmth. What you get is a Tom Ford meets MFK-style fragrance that's smoky, spicy, and sweet in perfect balance. Masculine, mysterious, but approachable. For a summer signature, layer Andaleeb with a sharp neroli scent like Al Haramain Lavender Femme, or even a clean citrus splash like 4711. This combo smells like you're wearing a $200 niche cologne from a minimalist brand out of Scandinavia. For a club-ready beast, wear Carbon Edition as your base, but give it a single spray of Barakkat Rouge on your collar or scarf. The spice lavender power of Sauvage Elixir meets the sugary, airy saffron of BR 540, creating a masculine-feminine tension that feels seductive and deliberate. There's a reason these fragrances feel upscale beyond just their scent profiles. If you want to really understand what separates a cheap-smelling scent from one that smells rich, here are some traits to look for. Note balance. In budget fragrances, harsh openings or cloying sweetness are common. Rich-smelling scents like Turathi Blue or Barakkat Rouge manage to balance brightness and smoothness with no screech. The transitions between top, mid, and base notes feel seamless, not sudden. Texture. This is where most clones either succeed or fail. Does the scent have depth and softness, or is it flat and synthetic? Andaleeb, for example, has a musky, creamy texture that gives it that upscale second skin quality. It doesn't just sit on the surface, it melds. Projection discipline. Over-projecting cheap scents often scream chemical. The picks on this list, even the beast modes, manage to project without aggression. Khamrah Qahwa and Oud Mood are loud. Yes, but they're composed. That's key. Accords over notes. Don't just look at what notes are in a fragrance. Ask how they interact. Fragrance World's Carbon Edition works because it layers spicy, aromatic, and woody accords into a unified identity. That coherence is what makes it smell expensive. Even the best clones sometimes fall short on performance, but there are techniques to stretch them further. Apply on moisturized skin. Use a fragrance-free lotion or a matching body oil before applying your fragrance. This gives the scent molecules more to cling to, especially if you've got dry skin. Target warm points plus fabric. Spray pulse points? Yes, but don't skip the inside of your elbows, back of your knees, or lightly misting your collar. These areas emit body heat and help release the scent gradually. Let it settle before you judge. Many clones need 15 to 30 minutes to settle on skin. Alcohol will initially dominate, but the real magic comes in the dry down. Don't rush your judgment. Store smarty. Heat and sunlight kill budget scents quickly. Keep your clones in a cool drawer away from bathroom steam or windows. You'd be surprised how much longer they last when stored right. Let's go a little deeper because not all clones are created equal, and not every $25 banger is a safe blind buy. Here's how I personally evaluate whether a clone is worth owning. Does it hold its own DNA? The best clones reference their inspiration but stand on their own. Like Khamrah Qahwa, you can smell the Kurkdjian roots, but the coffee twist gives it purpose. It's not just mimicking, it's building on the idea. Does it fade gracefully? Cheap fragrances tend to fall apart after the top notes. The good ones, Barakkat Rouge, Andaleeb, Carbon Edition, don't just evaporate, they evolve. The dry down tells a second story, which is key. Does it create an impression or just smell nice? A lot of budget colognes smell fine, but forgettable. A great cologne has presence. It leaves a mark. Oud Mood Reminiscence may not be for everyone, but you'll never forget it once you smell it. That's the difference. Let's kill a myth real quick. Expensive doesn't always mean better, and cheap doesn't always mean weak. What actually makes a fragrance powerful is the confidence it gives you to wear it like it matters. There are guys out there rocking $300 bottles and still smelling like uncertainty. And then there are people layering $25 clones with purpose and owning every room they walk into. Here's the truth. People don't smell the price tag. They smell the vibe, they notice composition. They catch that clean finish, that unexpected note, that balance between subtle and bold. When you understand how to choose a scent with structure, you control the room, not the brand label. So let's keep this conversation going because I know my viewers are the real frag heads. What's your favorite under-the-radar cologne that delivers more than it should? Ever mixed two budget fragrances and created something better than the designer original? And here's one I always ask. What's the worst cheap frag mistake you've ever made? Drop your answers in the comments. I read all of them, and I found some of my favorite new discoveries from viewers like you. This is a space for real scent knowledge, not influencer hype. If you've got a hidden gem, now's the time to share it. And look, if even one of these scents caught your attention, you already know what to do. I've linked every fragrance down in the description. Real deal clones and affordable bangers you can grab straight from Amazon. Nothing sponsored, just stuff that I've tested. That smells like wealth and costs less than what most guys drop on a haircut. These aren't impulse buys, they're smart moves. You're getting the kind of compliments and performance that rival $200 designers for a fraction of the cost. We're talking deep woods, clean citrus, beast mode gourmands, all under $30. You're not just saving money, you're building a collection with real firepower. So scroll down, take your pick, and make it yours. Smell like a gentleman without spending like one. That's how we move in this game. And if you're serious about leveling up without going broke, yeah, I've got more for you.